All right, this is Exploring the Influence of Media and Television on Social Perceptions of Crime and Violence by Olivia Lacentra. Does mass media create and warrant levels of fear of crime in society? Yes, it does. Reality cop shows emerge as the strongest predictor of fear and and wanting to have protective behavior. So it makes people, so by watching those reality police shows, it exaggerates the violent crimes and the arrest rates way more on TV, rather than if had they watched like a TV drama about it or like even watching the news. It shows that yeah, it makes people want to go out and buy guns and weapons to protect themselves at a much higher rate had they had not watched the reality show at all. Studies also show that it's mainly through TV that it's thriving, not films and newspaper that have the strongest influence. So again, it's like the TV, and 90% of the TV of most of the channels are all and that yeah 90% um, corporations like own it, so it's mainly them. How do perceptions of crime reinforce social labels and stereotypes in society? Again, like when they watch shows like Cops, it shows more black males as being criminals versus being the victims. The study shows that they're more likely to be menacing and nameless, and that they're 4 times more likely to be representative as criminals. And so yeah, just by having that small exposure to it can lead to, stereotyping them, being really judgmental towards them. Had you not even watched it, you probably wouldn't have had that effect. Another example would be the crack baby mother stereotype, which was basically a political tactic used to put down black women and just label them as scapegoats and to just show that there's so much wrong with them when really it's just misinformation to reinforce social assumptions and to make, kind of like divide us, and it just leads to more inequality and more social policies against them and makes it harder for them to rise up. Some important ideas to take away is that it's deviant labels are just assigned to people just as masks, as social conflicts. It makes people, the labelers, more confident in that everything that they're doing is right, that they think it's okay to label people and, like start stuff. Like a lot of the Baptist Church is really good at that. Also, multiple studies constantly showing that that through TV that they keep labeling, especially minorities, as violent and aggressive, which again creates this false stereotype onto them, which leads to more policy that goes against them, in more and probably more like uncomfortable situations when it didn't even have to be like that. The theoretical perspectives used, I feel like there was two. The conflict theorist from introduced by Karl Marx, which argues that crime stems from a system of inequality to keep those with power at the top and those without power at the bottom. Again, like how 90% of the TV is owned by corporations, so they're that 1%. They have to keep making it more difficult for people who are poor and minorities to move up and have a say. Another theory that was used is symbolic interaction, since yeah, it's deviant. It's a socially constructed nature to label people as deviant or somebody who you don't know, or yeah, from watching the television that you're like, oh no, there's a black guy, he's gonna rob me. So my feelings about it is that it's really unsettling and it's really just so biased and so, you know, not cool, just because it's like these are people's real lives, and it's like all these policies previously and currently and probably in the future there's still going to be more policies put in place that affects their, these are people like real lives, and it puts them down and it makes it more difficult just to do everyday things, I feel like. um, and that's the resources that I use.